Let's make history.
Bolivar was born rich, a playboy that gave up his life full of privilege to fight the Spanish Empire. Simón Antonio de la Santísima Trinidad Bolívar y Palacios was born July 24, 1783, just 4 years before the first aborted rebellion in Caracas. The revolt was in reaction to the monarchist struggles in Europe, to oppressive policies that kept Spanish-born in the Americas, that is criollos, from managing their own affairs, to the frustration of having to read Enlightenment ideas in banned books.
Simón Bolivar was a military officer who became the leader of the biggest liberation movement in Latin America. He helped lead the bulk of Latin America to independence from Spain. He was actually born into a family of wealthy Spaniards, but they were American born. And so his parents died at a young age and he went abroad and to Spain to study, and in the process he became inspired by the Age of Enlightenment, or the philosophies that came out of the Age of Enlightenment. And with all the Western ideals, he wanted to implement those throughout Latin America. Even though he was Spanish, he considered Venezuela his homeland and the surrounding areas. And so he wanted to bring those principles which uplifted the West. Simón Bolivar became a military officer in Venezuela's War of Independence against Spain. Luckily, as fate would have it, the Napoleonic Wars really began to take a toll on Spain. Their power began to wane. Bolivar went on full offensive, and between a period of 1819 to around 1825, he freed Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Panama, and Venezuela became united as one country called the Republic of Colombia, or Gran Colombia. Eventually, those countries broke apart to form the countries that they exist as today. And Bolivar ended up being the second president of Venezuela, and he died in 1830 from tuberculosis.
America's most revered revolutionary, Simón Bolivar waged a battle against the continent's oppressors from Spain. He freed him to the people and helped them create new republics. And to this day, his noble heroism inspires nations trying to implement change. Marie Arana from the Scholars Council at the U.S. Library of Congress joins us. She wrote a book about this legendary liberator called Bolivar. Marie, welcome. And I'd like to discuss the man and the myth with you. Why was Simón Bolivar so important to Latin American history?
Well, when you think of what he accomplished, it was a huge thing, really, to get rid of a Spanish colonial force that controlled most of the hemisphere at the time. And there was one man and one moment, and he kept trying against all odds. And it took him the third try, really, to actually liberate a landmass that was the size of modern Europe. And it was a population that was 7 times larger than the population in the American Revolution at the time. So he connected all the races. He went from one colonial territory to another, and just kept liberating one country after another until he had 6 republics, 6 independent republics, which is really quite amazing when you think of it just in terms of the quantity of freedom that he was able to provide in the hemisphere.
Leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to WillFloresTV on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and X.